Yeah, good morning all. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. So let us start without wasting any time because people are here to, what is today's topic? Today's topic is cash flow, the money mantra. So this is one of the primary, I would say, a course of action to be taken while anybody of us trying to do any business. Cash flow, the money mantra, how exactly important the cash flow is all about, what is money all about, and how important is this money in our business, in our personal life. That is more important, because end of the day, when we do business, we actually do business to enrich our own selves. We have some desires and we need to take care of the desires. We need to achieve all those desires. We need to get those desires into a successful platform. And that's why we decide to do a business. And to do a business, among all other things, among all other priorities of a business, money probably is the most important aspect of that. So as we go forward, let's talk about money. The rupee, as far as Indian continent is, as far as India is concerned, what is the role of money in the business? That is very important. What is the role of money in the business? If anybody can put in the chat, what is the role of money in business? Because if you don't know what is the role of the money in the business, then probably will not understand how important money is there in the business. So, my friends, please keep on chatting into this system, because this cannot be a monologue and this should be a dialogue, so that it is not that whatever I am saying is like coming from a Bible or coming from a Vedas, like that. It is all of us together. We are trying to understand what exactly money it is and what is the role of that money in the business. So let's understand. If anybody wants to put basic of business, yes, it is the basis of business. Correct. What it gives, what does money gives us in the business? That is very important. What does money gives us in the business? When we start doing a business, what does it actually give us? It gives us something to work on. So what is that something to work on? Needed for investment, yes. So needed for investment, that means you want to say it is growth. So you want to say it is growth. So when we talk about cash flow, which is today's topic, cash flow, the money mantra. And cash flow and the money mantra is basically the only mantra which can drive your business apart from your passion. Now, in this particular slide, when talking about what is the role of money, yes, what you said is needed for investment. That is, you need something to grow. The strength running to the business, the basic of the business, everything is fine. That's really perfect. The strength to run on the business. I come to the first point. It gives us freedom. It actually gives us a lot of freedom. You can live the way you want, conduct the business the way you want. It gives us freedom to think, freedom to explore, and freedom to execute whatever we want to explore. That is what money is giving. So that is one part which is called freedom. The second part is the power to execute our freedom, the power to empower our freedom, to do what we want to do, because it is important to pursue our dreams. Having money enables to start and to continue. So it is very easy to start a business and to end the business, but it is very important to be consistent in the business. To be consistent in the business, we need this particular word called vitamin M, which is money. So money gives us freedom, money gives us power, and ultimately, lastly, money gives us security. It is actually like a roof on top of us on the business platform, because business is not a straight line. Unfortunately, we all live happily when everything is going on smoothly. But unfortunately, when we see a very straight line ECG, we get afraid. So it's a big dilemma actually. You know what it is, whether we actually go for a very stable line of business, or we have a business where there is a little bit of ups and downs there. So it is basically a combination of growth and fall. Growth and fall. That is how it is called the actual business, the actual way of conducting business. It will obviously go up and down. It reaches. It is as per the Kaizen rule, where it is growth, it grows up, it remains in a plateau. Again, it grows, it remains in a plateau. So in each and every case, you need a roof to sustain it. And that is what money is all about. So the role of the money in business is freedom, power, and security. That is what I think. If you have something else, please let us know what you want to say and what you want to have. Motivation or tool? What exactly the money is all about? Is it a motivation or is it a tool to run your business? What is important to your business? What is the pride of your business and what drives your business? It's very important to understand here what is important to your business, what is the pride of your business, and what drives your business. It's all different. In all cases, it is different for different businesses, for different enterprises, for different businessmen, for different entrepreneurs, everybody. We can take money as a motivation, but I think that money is a tool to run your enterprise. Because every single business will have different motivational factors which keeps them moving forward, thus dictating their goals and their vision. Correct? So every single business, every single enterprise, whether it is you doing it or it is we are doing it or I am doing it or anybody doing it, have got different motivational factors. What motivates me may not motivate you. It may not motivate her. It may not motivate him. But whatever motivates him or her will keep them moving towards their own vision and their own goal. So the most interesting part is all the rules are valid in this. Whatever you are doing, whatever tool you are using to do your business, everything is viable. But let's not fool ourselves. The most important factor is money. If I don't have that, I don't have that freedom to run the tool. I don't have power to execute that tool. And I don't have that security that even if my process goes wrong somewhere, I have got something to help me to stand up. So this is what is different. So I should say, let's not think in this way that, we are only motivational people. Because by only motivation, it can run to some time. But without money, a business hasn't got any value. It doesn't work actually. It cannot happen. So generating money with a proper thought process, sustaining money with a particular process, and using money for a particular vision is the ultimate role of money in the business. Let's continue discussing this a little bit more. So, okay. Let's talk about the cash flow. Okay. What is the cash flow? Cash flow is nothing that when you are selling something and we are getting something, and it is actually the numbers which are the key driving factors from the present, which is today, and for the future. So numbers are the key driving factors when we are talking about the cash flow, because ultimately every cash depends upon the numbers which is getting rolled out from your business, and without that it does not happen actually. Now the second one is the right decision at the right time. When you talk about the right decision at the right time, it's very easy to say, but the problem is whenever there is a lack of information in any of the roots of any decision, the decision does not happen. The entire flow gets sabotaged due to lack of information. So one important point is that when we are talking about the numbers, we need to know the right numbers, the right information, so that we can take a decision how to manage the cash flow. So in your organizations, whenever you see that there is a problem in the cash flow, a temporary setback in the cash flow, if you go back to your system, you'll find out there was some point of lack of information. And that lack of information did not allow you to take the right decision at the right time, and hence you are finding the difference what you were supposed to be and what you are today. When you find this gap, of course, it's your responsibility again to measure it. Why is this gap? How is this gap? And who has been responsible to get this gap? Because at each and every moment, at each and every interval, however scheduled it has been in your organization, you have to keep on measuring and testing the quality of the information leading to the right decision in your organization, because that actually is a main, I would say, a force which controls your cash flow. Because we all understand cash flow is derived, is equal to the number of units or services rolling out from your organization. We can conceive a very good, a well-built, a robust organization. But if that organization has got no force to sell those ideas out to the market, bring them out to the people, then there is no in, there is only out. Okay, so next point is basically when we turn to both historic numbers and the future key performance indicators. Now, key performance indicators, shortly known as a KPI. Some people say it's a KRA. There are many type of versions of this particular word, but it was initially known as a key performance index. It became key performance indicators. Now, what it is actually, when a person or when you employ somebody or when you induct an individual in your organization, you induct him with some responsibilities. So the process of inducting people is a different ballgame. We can discuss that later on, because there is a subject on that also. How do we recruit and what we do while recruiting people? Now, when we recruit people, we give them an appointment letter. But 99% organizations does not give them their KPIs, what they are supposed to do, for what they are in this organization, and what are their responsibilities. Because each and every department in an organization are responsible to ensure that the cash flow is normal, because that is the blood in the organization. So when we decide upon our key performance indicators, what we look at, majority of the organizations, what they do, they hire a person and thinks that they will touch the moon. They think that that person will bring everything on earth which they were not able to bring here now. Believe me, it does not happen in that way. Everything has got a very progressive nature of growing. So look into the history, what your growth part is, what your growth pattern is. Don't expect a magic happening when a person is joining you and you put all the numbers in that KPI. It will break the entire system. Look into the history of the organization, how it grows and how it is growing, and what steps are you taking to induct a new person with a new KPI. This stands a little bit different from a startup. Of course, a startup is basically who is starting up with a vision. So when he's starting up with a vision, he is actually inducting operating partners with him, he is inducting VCs with him, he is inducting angel investors with him, he's getting a team of people, like-minded team of people to do something different from others. In those cases, the KPIs are different. They don't have a history. They are creating a present which will become a history tomorrow. So things are different, but we have to take it as per it works. So this is both accounting numbers, testing, measuring, and then comparing it how we are growing from the past. Hence, my request and my suggestion is that dig the history to map the present so that you don't make a mistake of waiting for a magic to happen. Don't look for a magic in the system. It doesn't happen. It never happened. It will never happen also that a magic is happening. A magic does not happen. An exception happens, and exceptions are not regular affairs. So keep on digging the history month by month, comparing it with for example, if it's a sales organized team, then comparing the Q1 of the financial year 2022 in comparison with the Q1 of the previous financial year, the Q1 of the then financial year, and then you understand that how much you have grown from 2020 to 2021 and what you will be expecting in 2022. You can always have a month, you can always have a quarter, you can always have a 6 months. Any type of relation with the past will help you to actually map the present. So dig in the history and get into the present, which will help to actually understand what is the cash flow you are expecting. Otherwise, you will keep on pouring water inside it. You will keep on pouring cash inside your system, expecting that the magic is going to happen, but it does not happen. It never happened, it does not happen, and it will never happen. So with this, I move on to a subject called the key to money mastery. What are the keys to the money mastery? Number one, budgeting. The one and only one is budgeting. If we don't budget, we will not be able to understand what is our money flow. A very important part. In the last webinar, we discussed about the destination mastery, where we want to reach, when we want to reach, and what is the way we want to reach there. This is the second part of it called the money mastery, when we talk about the first and important thing when you open up the door of your new business, budget. It can be an expenditure budget, it can be a sales budget, but it has to be budgeted. Your cost, your expenses, and what is your probable gross profit, which gives you and way to your net profit. So budget it, and after budgeting, the most important is lay it down, inform it, hence report it. So budgeting and reporting are the two main pillars of your money mastery. If we decide on the budget, then we will be exactly successful in laying down the map of our money, because if there is no money, there is no business, and if there is business, there has to be money. So when you do budgeting of that, you exactly know what you're going to do and what are your expenses you're going to incur and what you need to get inside the system to meet those expenses. Report it and ask for reports about it. If you don't ask reports from your team what they are doing, then probably you will not be able to understand whether you are near the budget or whether you are very far from the budget. You have to analyze, you have to test, and you have to measure to find out where we are from the budget, what we have decided. Majority of the companies in India, even we have also gone through those phases where the JFM period, that is the Jan, Feb, March period, for those companies whose financial year starts from April, they actually go on budgeting on expenses, budgeting on manpower, putting up the sales figures, get into the gross profits, take out the cost from it, discuss about the variable expenses, which are the most important expenses, the variable ones which comes from somewhere and goes into a system, bleeding you sometimes without any information. So all these things are done primarily in these 3 months of this year, of any year. So JFN is a period of budgeting and reporting. So I thought that why not I take the money mastery initially, so that you also can start exercising the same in your organization. The expenses of the coming financial year should depend upon the source of money coming from that financial year. That is how we budget it and report it in the system. So the next most important, one of my favorite subject is this, whether you have break-even. What is the break-even? Otherwise, it all becomes money comes, money goes. We are managing. If we have to give somebody, say at 12th of the month, we delay it to put it at the 18th of the month. Perfect. Sometimes it happens. You cannot just avoid it because business is always full of bubbles. It keeps on happening. Some bubbles burst out early, some bubbles stay with you to give you that desired profitability. But let us understand what is a break-even. You see the number of colored lines inside that system, right? The line which actually attracts your vision is a red line. Is the red line. What is the red line? The red line is all written on the right hand side of the graph. Red line is basically your fixed expenses. आप पैसा कमाए, आप पैसा नहीं कमाया, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, but this expenses remains as same. It doesn't move unless and until you break the system to change the fixed expenses. So this is one thing which you have to be in your Excel sheet always. You know what we call as a dashboard. We'll talk about the dashboard. Dashboard is a very important word. Just remember it. We will talk about this. Dashboard. So fixed cost is there. Then fixed cost plus your buying cost plus your variable cost. See the color. See the color. Okay, just above the red, you will see the color. The variable cost, it starts somewhere, it moves somewhere without your notice. It just goes on like this, which gives you the total expenses, which is the yellow color. So when we talk about profit, it's my experience, I can tell you, when I talk to different clients of mine and ask them about their balance sheet, to take out the profit and loss account and ask them, where are you going to fix this problem? Believe me, majority of them say, and they believe it, we cannot control this. It is just that they are not working, and that's why I am not getting it. But that is not the case. There are people who are working and some people are not working. And that brings the change in your fixed cost. If you properly keep on doing your measuring and testing of the entire KPIs of your people who are engaged in organization and who are responsible for the growth of the organization, you have to keep on checking what they have been supposed to do and what they are doing and what they are not doing. That will reflect a lot of things in your fixed cost. Optimizing your resources available in your hand. One very important. How do you optimize? You can always optimize by creating a Google Sheet in your system where exactly you know how your people are actually responding to their responsibilities. I use the word responding to their responsibilities. Find out what is happening, how much time has been given for the job, what they are being paid for. When they do that, they actually try to understand. It is not that they are not working. Maybe they are not getting themselves analyzed properly and they are not able to understand where they are going wrong. So it is our responsibility, it's your responsibility to make them understand what is actually missing out. So when we do that, we find out the variable cost coming down and the fixed cost also is lowered from a particular level. And with this, when your revenue starts growing because of the more effectiveness of the team working for you, you will see that your net profit, the green line, which is now below, starts moving out on the left hand side. So increasing the net profit, question is, what is a net profit? Can anybody say what is the net profit in the chat? What is exactly a net profit? I see the chat completely quiet. So if somebody can put some words in the chat and tell us what exactly is a net profit. Let's see. Profit after all expenses. Perfect. So what do you mean by all expenses? Costs minus sales. Okay. Anything more? Cost minus sales, profit after all expenses and taxes. Yes, one more word added, expenses and taxes. So we got expenses, we got taxes, we got the cost of the products which we are buying it and selling it. So there are three components I've added. Fixed and variable cost. So how many things? We have got tax, we have got sales, we have got expenses, we have got fixed expenses, and we have got variable expenses and variable costs. Yes, please look into that. So when we talk about expenses, expenses has got a fixed expense, it has got a variable expense. I'll tell you a very live example. A few days back, it is a distributor firm. In the distributor firm, people go on meeting the distributors, to sell products to them. Even if there are products which are automatically lifted by the distributors to share it in the market, then also people go on visiting them face to face. Now there is no harm in it. But understand one thing. What is the utility when I visit a distributor to ensure that he orders for already moving subjects. The cost of traveling and the cost of time for that particular product range is misutilized. So every visit to a particular organization has to be completely ranged out and understood how to be more effective in that sales, because each and every visit should have more and more new things coming up. So in every organization there are two things. One is revenue products and one is regular products. Yes, perfect. A lot of organizations today after the pandemic have started doing a monthly P&L. Correct. So in this way, when we actually find out what exactly is the utility of that particular expenses on that particular call, your team will understand what is the use of our time. If they're going to a distributor, they should go to get an extra profitability which is different from the existing profitability. If I'm not clear, I can make it more clear in a different way. He's saying that if I'm going to sell, going to a distributor and ensuring that whatever he is taking, he should take again. We go for what generally we call it as a courtesy call, a very common language used in our sales domain. We say that, I just went there for a courtesy call. He's doing a good business, but once in a while we have to meet them. Yes, meet. Nobody has stopped you meeting them. But when you meet, there should be one more agenda. What is that agenda? Is to add something which is not selling and work on that. Then the variable cost gives you profitability and your net profit actually goes up. So what is BE? BE is basically the break-even point where your total expenses and your total cost, they cross each other, the revenue. That is the break-even point. When the blue line is actually moving up, that is the revenue which you're getting. And when the total expenses, after some time it's going down and the revenue is going up, the point at which this crosses, that is known as the break-even point, and where you get a little bit of, happiness. You think that, okay, something has happened. We are at par now. We are at a zero level now. From there, it has to grow. Now, there are some participants who are here from the last two sessions. If you remember that, when we go to the cliff and there's a chance of fall and there's a chance of growth, that's the break-even point. A calculative risk taken, a thought process implied on what to do and what not to do, which is on the main priority, is actually what helps you to do the maximum utilization of your profit. Maximum utilization of your profit. That is how whether you reinvest that in your organizations, or some people, they keep it aside and keep it fixed for some time. Okay, so this is how the break-even point you can understand. So turnover versus net profit. That's the mantra out here. I think everybody offers today drive a car or drive a bike. So driving a four-wheeler, driving a two-wheeler is actually driving. Conducting a small business or conducting a big business, both are important. Whether I'm conducting a small business or whether I'm conducting a big business. In both the cases, we require a dashboard which tells what is happening. within that entire system. Now, when we are riding a two-wheeler, we have got a small dashboard. But when we are riding a four-wheeler, we get a bigger dashboard. Dashboard is nothing but a place where all informations are collated in a very regulated and in a very systematic manner. Through that dashboard, you are able to understand, visualize what is happening in your business vehicle. So, to create a perfect money mastery in your organizations, you have to create a perfect dashboard. Because you are an investor in your business. Unless and until you want to become an employee of your own business, where you don't need a dashboard, you need to get into the day-to-day nitty-gritties of your organizations. That's a different story altogether. Those people are not actually, I'm sorry to say, they are not entrepreneurs. They are businessmen who becomes an employee of the organizations. And we at Action Coach, we try to bring them out from that suffocation. So, create that dashboard with an authentic help. Don't try to create a dashboard on your own. It does not happen. Everybody says that, I can do it. I know it. But actually, no one can know everything completely. It is not possible. So, creating a dashboard is one of the most important things. And when you create a dashboard, your life becomes easy. You can really focus on something on a larger revenue domain because you understand what is happening. So bigger the business, bigger the dashboard. You cannot run a vehicle, a four-wheeler, with a small two-wheeler dashboard. But at the same time, both are dashboards. It gives the requisite information of the business. Let's talk about another important aspect of the sales and collection cycle, which is commonly known as RRQ. It's a very important cycle. We must understand this and we must take it down in our system meticulously so that everybody can fall in this system. Sales and collection cycles, RRR. What are the various class of transactions? That is very important. So what does RRR means? The first R stands for revenue. The second R stands for receivable. And the third R stands for receipts. So revenue, receivable, and then receipt.
Power on. Your Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
I'm so sorry. So this sales and collection cycle is the major dashboard in your organization. You can use it and you can also keep it wherever you want to keep it and follow it. So let's understand the different class of transactions, which brings that RRR, revenue, receivable, and receipts. So the first one is the customer. The first transaction is the customer. When you find a customer or a client, you develop him from your suspect level to the prospect level and make it a closure. Then it is actually handled by the sales department. In larger organizations where you are talking about a customer, an order, a closure, everything, when the sales department brings it back to the organization, it goes to the credit department. Why it goes to the credit department? Because it has to be analyzed whether that particular organization from where the order has been taken has actually a good civil value. Are they actual good credit people? Are credit worthy? Think about that. Or maybe they should be able to understand that we know this organization, so let's work with it. Now, when the sales department and the credit department works together without understanding that they are creating, So when we understand that, sales department and credit department are not the enemies of each other. They don't have any enmity. It is a part of the system. Sometimes it is combined. The sales department itself takes the decision whether I should give them 100% credit or whether I will not give them 100% credit. Sometimes when the sales people are out on the market to do something, to execute something, to explore something, they get waived. Okay, so that has been taken care. That has to be taken care by somebody. There should be some checkpoint whether what they are doing is exactly right or wrong, or it can be tweaked in a different way. So comes the credit department. When the credit department approves that, it goes for shipping. In a lot of cases, it happened that the sales department has told that yes, आपको delivery मिल जाएगी. आपके लिए order दे दो, advance दे दो, delivery मिल जाएगा. जब माल पहुंचेगा, आप मेरे को बाकी पेमेंट दे देना. So the credit department takes care of that. माल तो मिल जाएगा, because the next part of the payment depends upon the timing of the material to be received by the customer, so that we can avoid the part of the discomfort which actually happens in a lot of sales organizations. It goes to the shipping. When it goes to the shipping, it comes to the stage, the another class of transaction which is receivable. So the sales department actually confirms the revenue. The credit department confirms the revenue. The process goes for shipping, and then it comes to the receivable stage. When it goes to the receivable stage, it has to be received. But again, the sales team comes into the picture. The credit department comes to the picture and gets through it. It goes to the accounts. It goes to the treasury. It goes to the treasury. So when it goes to the treasury, then the revenue is sustained. Revenue is achieved. The sales cycle completes with the money in. Now what happens to that money? When it goes to the accounting, it immediately looks into the face of the creditors. We are all aware of the debtors and the creditors, correct? So creditors is the place from where we have borrowed money to run our business. So when it comes to the creditors, you have to take care of them for the well-being of your organization. So that money goes to the creditors. When we're talking about the net profit, we always miss about this, the creditors. This is also a part of your expenses, which is not even a fixed expense. It varies. It is not even a part of a variable expenses. It is a very, very important part and has to be assigned a particular name for it. So this is a creditor expenses. When you talk about the creditor expenses, they are taken care of. From there, your expenses comes to it, whether it is variable or whether it is fixed expenses, and then you can derive a part of the net profitability. So this is how the various class of transactions are looked into. Okay, so customer, sales department, credit department, shipping, accounts receivable, accounting, treasury, coming to the creditors, taking care of expenses, the variable part, the fixed part, and then of course get the net profitability. Wow. To get this wow, the first person comes into the picture. The sales, the customers. We will talk about them in our next, whenever we have got over the next issue on the sales people, because the net profitability can only talk about the wow factor. So when we talk about money, when we talk about sales, which are all interrelated, and they are having a lot of information which is being shared within themselves. Okay, so the most important part is where to cut off, where to bring a stop, that no, I cannot do this. Let's not get waved away on our own, references that, I know this person, I know this company, so better let us do this business. He will give us in 3 months. Sometimes he makes 6 months. The decision is completely on us. The decision is completely on you, what to expect and what to not expect. The internal controls of sales transactions is very important to derive the actual value of the cash flow. An internal control pertaining to the occurrence is that each sale transaction is supported by the necessary documents. Do you do that? If you do that, it is well and good. If you are not doing that, please start doing it. Every document of the sales process has to be documented, has to be signed off with a responsible person. It has to be an approved sales order. We normally get into verbal sales orders. Please try avoiding that. An approved sales order has a lot of information inside it. What are they? They are your GST taxes, they are your shipping details, they are your payment schedules, everything which are there. And of course, based on that, an invoice is raised. So cut-off, classification of the people, completeness of the sales order, occurrence of the sales to the perfect accuracy. These are the internal controls of the sales transactions. Cash receipt. When sales is completed, the person who comes into the picture, the factor which immediately comes out into the picture is cash receipt, whether we are getting it or not. Some internal controls. Segregation of duties from your profit. For example, today, when you are selling something with a GST, you have to keep your GST money separately because in every 20th of the month, you have to adjust it with your in and out. A monthly bank reconciliations, probably everybody of us do that, but we do it on a very average way. Kindly do it on a very, very regular and on a very, very inquisitive way so that you find out what is happening. Monthly customer statements. Which customer buying what and at which time? How many customers are your repeat customers? How many new customers coming in the systems? All these things has to be there in the customer statement. There are two types of sales, new sales and continuous sales. New sales are the new people joining your system. Continuous sales is that the happy customers are continuing to be in your system. But my dear friends, there are some people lose out from this. Look into that. Look into the monthly customer statements and find out those people who have not remained, who are not there with you for the last 2 months. Where have they gone? Remittance invoices, how the payments are coming in. Reconciliation of the documents with the deposit slips of the bank. Probably somebody within the organization will be continuously doing that, but do have a look to that once. The hidden component of a business, leakage. Sometimes we ignore it till the time it becomes a big one. There are two types of leakages actually, perennial leakage and a temporary leakage. If it is a perennial leakage, it brings a setback. If you don't give a proper look to that, it becomes a setback. It is unrecoverable at one point of time, and it happens because of lack of compliance, lack of systems, lack of governance. Whereas a temporary leakage, they are very low in effect initially. They are recoverable. What you need to do is to change the guard. If you see that the temporary leakage is happening from one part of the system, change the monitor of that particular system and bring an end to it. But on a regular, when you are regularly looking into the system, measuring and testing it on a regular interval, you will be able to see your temporary leakages. So please take care of these two part leakages. These are the main things which remains in your hidden agenda. It comes out suddenly and brings a big effect in your variable expenses, perennial and temporary. So these are the main aspects of the money and how the money is and how the cash flow has to be attempted inside the system and how it has to be taken care of. Just by putting in more money into the system does not mean that the business is going well. When you are putting in money, which is absolutely required to the bigger picture of your organization, it makes sense. But when you put in money continuously to save it from collapsing, then it is not a good system. So here we are at Atkonnectt Redefining Businesses, where we are the certified executive and business coaching organizations from Action Coach Las Vegas, with a vision of world abundance through business re-education. So we have one-to-one sessions with our business owners, and we help them to curate their business so that it can go to the next level and achieve their outcomes organically. We can't do magic, and I believe magic does not stay for long. It is an illusion. Our key focus is basically on strategic planning, sales team building, of course, sales and marketing, systems optimization, manpower optimizations, team development, bringing the alignment with the business, aligning the team with the business owner and the business, and of course, end of the day, if it is not profitable, it is not digestible also. So we make them profitable. These are our schedules which are happening for the last few days and will continue till 16th of July. So we were at 26th of February. Today's discussion was on money mastery, the cash flow, the mantra, and the reality which we discussed about. On 12th of March, again, we'll come up with our fourth episode called the time mastery, the most valuable realizations, which is on an 80-20 part. We'll discuss about this on the fourth session, that is on 12th of March 2022, which should be a second Saturday again for you. We wait for you. We will wait for you eagerly on that day. Please join us and let's see what we talk about. Thank you so much. These are our coordinates: 976963619. The last three digits keeps on changing: 159 126 165. And you can follow us in the Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Please do visit our website. You will find a lot of information, a lot of activities, and we wait for your contribution to those things which are happening in the website. Thank you so much. Now, the session can be open, for any questions which you have got in your mind which we wanted to ask. Please keep on asking. We are there and we can take up these questions. Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Rahul. If you have got any questions, please feel free to ask. We will be able to tell you what it is.
But there's. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
But is the background noise not too much? No?
Not so much. It is there, but it is under control.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying was, yeah, it was a good session today, and the thing was covered very well. How first it reaches the break-even point, and then it moves towards the generating revenue, and that. But yes, I think for this you will be you will be covering in subsequent webinars the steps. No, I mean I just wanted to.
Yeah, we will be covering all the steps. If you go back to the system, I can show you again. So I think, yeah, you can see that 12th of March, it goes down to the time mastery, the delivery mastery, the niche, the leverage. We'll talk about how to develop a team, what the growth catalyst in organization, talking about the synergy results. And the most interesting part will be on 18th June, that is the workshop. Whoever wants to join in the workshop can join us. We'll talk about 90-day planning, yearly planning, 10-year planning, all those things. Is that what you wanted to know?
Yes. I was just.
Yeah, this is the schedule, which is 16th of July.
Yeah, so we'll be covering that. Great. It's excellent.
Mr. Kaushik, very good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, Mr. Vijay.
Yeah, I'll be obliged. If you can just share me the perennial, your last slide, the perennial and the temporary part. Suppose a candidate goes to a perennial stage.
Okay.
Right? And he's at a stage of his, towards the end of his, not towards the end of it, but of course on his, say, retirement end. How do you come out from that particular perennial stage?
See, perennial stage, which normally, detonate, it's like a bomb, inside your organization. So if you find that there is a perennial leakage, you have to permanently, shut it down.
Correct.
You cannot repair that. It is not possible. Because it goes down deep inside the organization, deep inside the governance of the organization. So the first checkpoint is looking at it from where did it start. First to plug in and then to find out where actually the wound has come up. And correct at that particular level. Because the area where the perennial leakage has started off, it remains uncoverable till the time you find out the reason for that setback. Who has started it, how it got started, and what was the reason that people were prompted to start that leakage. So that becomes very important. Because on those, hello?
The very aptly said, the setback, unrecoverable, and lack of compliance. They really come very well with this word.
Yes. Because the lack of compliance and lack of governance actually helped that temporary leakage to become a perennial leakage.
Yes.
Am I with you?
Yes, that's absolutely correct, sir. In fact, basically trying to identify the root cause for it once again.
Yes. It's like putting yourself under a machine to find out what has happened inside the body, which is not available in an X-ray.
Exactly, sir. It's basically a whole redundant unit, you can say now.
Correct. That's what it is.
Thank you very much, sir. It was really proved to be a good one.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. We look forward to see you in the next few days also.
Of course, I do connect. Although it was my first session, my brother has forwarded me this connect.
Okay.
So he take it up to that. So just analyze my time. I say, it's been a very good one. I'll definitely continue with you also.
Thank you so much, Sanjay. This will be highly, appreciated from my us.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions? Shiju, how are you, sir? Are you there?
Fine, I'm fine. It was a good session. Hello.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
hear you. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. It was a very good session. But I was just thinking about what is that mantra?
You know, the mantra in a cash flow, to maintain a very healthy and a robust cash flow, it's like you are a businessman. I too am a businessman. I'm learning to be a businessman. I cannot say that I'm a businessman. I'm still a very dormant businessman trying to learn and trying to teach people, because coaching profession, business coaching profession is only with 3 years with me. So it's a different gift. The mantra is actually what I found is to control your fixed expenses. Look into the
Okay.
leakages, because every business has to have some leakage. But normally when money keeps on flowing in, we don't put a very, a very organized attention towards that. Sometimes we oversee that. I give you a very, very small and very, very simple example. आपका ऑफिस बॉय, आप उसको भेजा है, ऑफिस से भेजा है किसी के ऑफिस में जाके कुछ डिलीवर करने के लिए. And that person's office, say for example, you stay in Borivali, right? And that person's office, say it is in Andheri.
Okay.
What is the time you're expecting from that guy? He has to go and come back. Say 1 hour? Say 2 hours?
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours?
Yes.
First day he does not come back before 3 hours. And we highly neglect it. ठीक है, एक दिन हो गया, लेट हो गया सर, ट्रेन नहीं मिला.
Okay.
And it keeps on happening. It keeps on happening. If it keeps on happening, then every time you lose 1 hour, right?
Yes, yes.
So what you lose? You actually lose money.
Yes, yes.
Your sales team is supposed to deliver 1 crore. I just take an absolute figure, 100 lakhs, okay? 100,000, sorry, 100,000 in a month. The first 2 months, they are at 30,000, 40,000, third month, 50,000. What you will do? If you are a very, very, compliant, would I say, an owner of an organization, you will try to understand why he is doing that, what is happening with him, correct?
Correct.
Do you have a DSR for that? Whether it is time limited or not, what they are doing, how many calls they are doing, what are the result of those calls, whether that repeat calls keep on giving results, because your growth catalyst in organization is your sales team, which will bring in revenue.
Correct.
Money only comes in from the sales team, from the product which you are selling. Whether you are manufacturing or whether you are trading, it's all the same at your end.
Right.
So once you break all those things into small pieces, it will be very easy for you to get into the details. Otherwise,
basically measurement.
Perfect measurement, exact word, measurement, test and measurement every point of time. If you see there is too much of haziness, rub it off, because you need a clear mirror before you.
Correct.
A very common example I can tell you. I always tell this to a lot of people. When we drive a car, there are 2 glasses before us, correct?
Correct.
One is the front glass, through which we see the front where we are going, and one we have got a small glass which is known as the rear glass, which you see the back.
Correct.
If both the glasses are there for seeing only, how much time do you actually spend in seeing the rear glass while driving? Is it equal to the time which you are seeing the front mirror?
No.
Because if you continuously keep on seeing on the rear mirror, you will land up, you understand actually where you're going to land up, right?
Correct.
So that's the way. You have to keep on seeing the rear as well as the front, rear and the front, but the percentage of both the vision has to be calculated.
Balanced.
Your salespeople, your money flow, your cash coming down. The mantra is how you look into that, how you measure that.
The balance.
The balance.
Okay.
Clear to you?
Yeah. Clear.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will expect you in all other sessions also. Thank you. Any more questions?
So Kaushik, please advise, is it this course or this business educational stuff is good for the young student, right?
Yeah.
Preparing for their curriculum in the interview where they embark.
Yeah.
Although not from the commerce background or from a very different background, is it applicable to join this, your particular course or your schedule?
So this schedule is, we are actually covering the different areas of a business. I tell you why it is not basically from what background somebody is coming.
Okay.
Yesterday I had a session with the students of Amity University, Jaipur. Okay, they have got an entrepreneur cell. When they pass out, they want to become an entrepreneur. So they are coming from the different fields. They're coming from the hotel, from the hospitality. They're coming from engineering. They're coming from different areas. But the point is, what a person wants to become: a businessman, an entrepreneur, or he wants to become an entrepreneur.
Okay.
So anybody and all these areas are basically building up a business. Sanjay ji, anybody working in an organization for you has to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, very true.
Correct? If he is not a businessman, then he is not the right choice for your organization. You don't need an employee today. You need a businessman in your business who is thinking at the same level, the same wavelength with you.
Okay.
So from any type of educational background, these courses help because it develops those ideas, those thought processes. But mind it, we know everything. Every businessman knows everything. But the point is, they don't get the time to execute it, and of course, it gets rusted out.
Yes.
So our mission is basically to remove that rust and again bring it back to your front vision. So that you still recollect, okay, this we were missing out and this we should do. And in the process, there are people who wants to get a 100% coaching or a consulting from us. We take those things separately.
Thank you so much. I just got your message.
Thank you so much. I think that's with it. My number is already there, which is 97696369194. So you're all welcome to connect whenever it is you feel necessary for it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good day.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.